Well, hello. So, let me tell you about a horrible thing that happened. And this really hits home because we had a very similar thing happen here in Alberta. But in Australia, this was some time ago, but some police got ambushed and a couple of them, two of them died. It was rural property. And see, this is like so much of this lines up with what happened here. It's horrible. There's a rural property. I believe there's a long driveway. And when the police arrived, there was probably like I think it was three people waiting for them. They had rifles. There was pretty much no chance that these police even had any indication this was coming. And, especially like you take something like a hunting rifle. I don't know exactly what calibers and whatever used, but that's lethal over such a horrible distance and accurate, and if there's any kind of optic or anything. But two of these police here, they get shot. They're dead or close to dead right away, and they're dead right there. And I think all four of them got shot. I can't remember. Like, this happened some time ago, and this was all some time ago that I was even looking into it and reading the news articles and everything. But you have four being shot at, two are down 100%, and the other two, I believe, are shot. And so those two, they split. And the one made his way to a vehicle, and he's out of there. He's gone. And there was the fourth one. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes here. She was crawling in this is probably in some deep grass. She crawled and crawled and crawled, and she was trying to hide so that way they couldn't see her. And the grass, the bush in that got lit on fire. So you can't lay in one spot when there's fire rapidly burning towards you. So she crawled and crawled and crawled some ridiculous distance to get away, and get out of the danger zone. And there was people commenting about this on a video and saying how it was only 3 police, not 4. How the one guy, he ran off, but he didn't leave anyone behind because the other two, they're already incapacitated, right? And I was trying to correct people, let them know, no, there was 4, not 3, and that, the one split one way, one split the other way, and he took off with the vehicle. And if I remember right, all 4 came in 2 separate vehicles, but the one was all shot up or something. I'm trying to do this all off my memory, right? And so, this was 8 months ago that I'm in these comments trying to let people know, tell them the truth of it. There we go. I had a person that wanted to ask me some questions, and they're passing me here. So, this is 8 months ago that there was all these people at my throat, that I was wrong and they knew everything, and I was trying to tell people the truth. And here's the consequences of telling the truth, right? So now I get dogpiled on. I get hated on. All these angry, crazy people just losing it on me because they know everything, right? Probably because they watched half of a video. I doubt any of them went and looked up any news articles or anything. And in that Mayerthorpe incident here in Alberta, it was one guy, he ambushed 4 police, and all 4 of them died. They didn't stand a chance. Once again, hunting rifle, lethal at a distance, accurate at a distance. And, that really hits close to home, right? Especially when I'm trying to think, like, well, did these bad guys here in Australia, did they use that as inspiration? Did they plan their attack based on that? Just wild, right? And then there's nothing, for 8 months, whatever. That'll let you know how long ago those comments were and stuff, right? Well, I get someone today, and they send the most unhinged, vile thing to me, and I reply, what did I get wrong, right? But in fact, what's even better is I was able to screenshot some of these exchanges, but that one in particular, they deleted their comment, I guess, right after. So I had to go onto my PC, go into the browser, and then go into the notification bar to to bring up that, and so I was able to at least, you know, get that comment and print it off. It's just not available in that video anymore. And so, Entropia Universe 352. This is at Kirk Hermer. What an absolute foolish thing to say. Took a look at your channel. Sorry, there's folds in the paper. Baby food soft as well. Speaking out of line. Absolute dink mentality. And that's where I wrote, what did I get wrong, you know? Because I'm guessing that this person didn't go and read a bunch of news articles and stuff to educate themselves. They probably just watched half the video and lost their mind, or maybe they saw other people hating on me and they decided just to join in. I don't know, right? And so remember, they said that they looked at my channel, and so popping up on my channel, I get a barrage of comments, right? Entropia Universe 352. I see your channel really took off from 4 years ago. Amazing. Another wannabe tough guy with some knives he doesn't know how to use. And I'm trying to read this with the way they use their punctuation and stuff. And a whole bunch of extra like double spaces and that, so I'll try and replicate that. And a small bonfire and a rusty bucket. Started from the bottom. Now you're here with the wrong you're. They wrote, while you are. And trying to find my way around while reading, this is going to be tricky here because, well, let's see, just the silliness here. Very deep. And it's interesting, they say it really took off from 4 years ago. Like, I started creating and uploading in 2018 and got sick of it really fast. And the number one thing was people's comments getting deleted when they leave really nice comments, and whoa, that's deep there. And I get an email copy when someone leaves a comment on my channel, right? So especially like someone writes a really nice thing and they took a long time to write it out and now their comment's just gone. That was the number one reason I stopped creating, or like regularly creating. So anyhow, back to this. I can only just imagine the most angry person, they must have just been seething, right? Why are you upset? And they reply with, Entropia Universe 352 says, I don't like you. That's why. You know, that's a big brain thing right there when I don't like you, that's why. I think you know exactly who you are and what you are. Carry on, little man. I'm not that upset. Can't be these days. Little clowns everywhere you look. Great style too. You must be such a great dude. Bet the women flock to you and the men want to be you. No. Whoa. So much interesting punctuation. Let's see here. No. You know that's not true, Kirk. Ooh, he knows my name. Have yourself a wonderful day. The difference between your account and mine, others. I believe he's trying to say the difference between, or they, I should say. I don't know who this person is. The difference between your account, mine, and others, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Is that, well, you're not using the correct you're again. An unmasked little troll. What is an unmasked little troll? Like someone that actually shows themselves online, I guess, right? I just get to comment, enjoy my day, check the socials, and find out what kind of fallen man you are. And you are. You don't normally start a sentence with and. Failed at this at least. Or maybe they're trying to make one sentence like, comma, and you are failed at this at least, maybe. Anyhow, so then I say, you know, you haven't explained what got you so worked up. You can't handle something, obviously. You're more than welcome to post videos demonstrating everything I'm doing wrong and how you're better. You know, he can show me how to, what did he say, they use knives properly or something? Yeah, I don't know how to use knives. And he says, you know, once again here, this is all Entropia Universe 352, right? Sorry about your luck out there in Red Deer. Or out, what? Sorry about your luck out in Red Deer too. But he put Red Deer together. It's not one word, it's two words. But then he put a capital in between. Whatever. And then another one pops up here that says, hope they got that little crybaby weed situation you had all worked out. Big sad in the news doesn't proper. You could write the news crying for his weed. Poor guy, what an absolute loser. So you know at this point here, this person is Googling, they're searching me, they're wanting to know everything they can find about me because there's some, you know, unstable person, right? That is just, they're this obsessed, right? That they want to find out everything they can about me. And I know because this is a news article that'll come up, because I was trying to raise awareness in, I believe it was October of 2018, that there was some crazy taxes coming, and we only had 1 week's notice. That when legalization of marijuana use came in effect, for both recreational and medicinal, where it was only medicinal before, right? That there'd be these new taxes slapped out of nowhere. And it was a huge shock for everybody. And it would, these changes in prices would make it unattainable for many medical users, including myself. So then you got to go back to pharmaceuticals for the pain and all the inflammation and stuff, right? But, so that's what this person means by this weed situation. And I replied to them about the Red Deer thing that, it's... Oh, and I believe they're trying to say Red Deer like as if they're like scaring me. That there's some kind of cyber sleuth that they figured out what city I live in. When it's in, I'm pretty sure, every video and every video title. So I reply, yep, it's the highest crime city / most dangerous city in Canada. The economy's been dead for a decade, nothing good here. And guess who replies? It's Entropia Universe 352. Now be good before your employer finds out what sort of real stuff you post online. Anyone make that call? Let me try this right from the beginning. Now be good before your employer finds out what sort of real stuff you post online. Anyone make that call? Do your work a big favor. And because the way sometimes things get, sent, received, and the timing and that, so some of these are out of line. So I had asked them before I saw that, what are you so upset about? Something is definitely bothering you because they're not telling me, right? And I said in that reply to the one that they say they need to let my employer know what's going on. I told them, call them, right? And so Entropia Universe 352 says, yeah, I'm going to call them and report 200 pounds of salami stuffed into a tank top. Right. Like, he's saying right there that, or they are saying, right, that there's all this crazy stuff I'm posting online and that my work needs to know, right? And then 200 pounds. 200 pounds of salami. No, fat. I understand what he's trying to get at, though, or they're trying to get at, that I'm, ooh, salami. Look at this. I am so massive. I've gained so much weight. I'm 245 pounds. I weighed myself when I left today with all the water, the gear, my boots, everything, right? Canteen, as well as my Camelback. 278 pounds. Writing 200 pounds stuffed into a tank top is... Dude, I would love to be 200 pounds. I would love to be at that weight. But instead, this is some kind of dig, right? So I write, in reply to that, I'm way more than that. I've gained so much weight, I'm 245 pounds now. And then their reply, from Entropia Universe 352 is lazy too. Of course, I know. I saw you, man. That's why this is done. See, I'm trying to use their punctuation in my speech and it's hard, but I'm doing the best I can. I really did waste a ton of time on nothing. See ya, bud. So what, they wasted a bunch of time creeping me and going psychotic and trying to, dig up stuff on me? I don't know. So I reply, you still have not explained what got you so upset today. Out of nowhere, you decided to look up my entire life. Something is really bothering you. And then I accidentally made a mistake. I wrote, is this what you do every day? It should have said, is this what you do every day? Now, even though this is on my channel, keep, in mind that video from 8 months ago where I was letting people know that it was 4 police, not 2, not 3, right? That one took off the one way, the other one had to crawl through the grass while it was on fire. Well, the fire was burning her boots, right? This Entropia Universe 352 writes, your comments on dead police officers, that's what, we're done here, pal. Like what, pal? Like Arthur's dog? Honestly. I feel a bit weird just mingling with someone as cold and gross as you exhibit yourself online. That's what, pin that one. You can't pin a reply to a comment thread, but you better believe that I pinned that thread so that way anyone that goes on that video can see this unhinged person. Just this absolute insanity. And this dead police officers thing, that's a real way to put it, huh? Telling people the truth that there was 4 involved, and one of them had her boots lighting on fire while she was trying to crawl away, but still stay hidden in the brush, in the tall grass, right? Put yourself in that position, right? Imagine you're in something that's maybe not even this thick, right? There's people with guns, multiple. They've started the whole brush on fire. It's probably bone dry too. It's probably not lush and green like this. And it's burning around you. And you're crawling away hoping that you don't get shot any more than you already have, right? And this person here has to write comments on dead police officers. No, telling everyone that they got what they got wrong and what they missed in that whole, situation, what they didn't research, what they just watched half a video and freaked out, or they saw someone else's comment and they freaked out, right? And then there was another one that popped up, but I had to go on my PC, because sometimes when you go on your PC instead of your app, it's, even your YouTube Studio app, you still sometimes don't have them all pop up. So now there's a big one here. He calls me Pal again, like Arthur's dog, right? Pal, your entire life looks like a giant mukbang, which I'm guessing he's talking about those Korean things or whatever, where people like fill their face, followed by a bunch of kids stabbing pork while wearing costumes. So I don't know anywhere that there's any kids stabbing pork. I know I've used pork as a human analog for testing knives, for testing Kevlar, testing stab resistance and stuff, right? But I don't know anywhere that there's anywhere in my life that there's kids stabbing pork while wearing costumes. Like this person is insane. Yeah, absolutely unhinged. This is your life. It's not entire. And like there's all these breaks. Sorry, I'm trying to do it like all their punctuation, all their breaks and everything. It's not entire. It's barely even registering any normal. It's not entire. It's barely even registering to any normal functioning men out there. As for me doing this, no, not every day, because I also train, I fight, I have a family, and I can usually get my point across in person when I run into a 5'10" nobody. It's just interesting, he writes 5'10", right? So where does he get 5'10" from? Is it a random guess? Or is this somebody that is so unhinged that they creeped everything they could about me? Because at one point in time I was 5'10". But my neck and back are so screwed up from that crash in 2008. I'm like 5'8", 5'9", depending on the day. Definitely not 5'10". I was 5'10" and 7/8", basically 5'11" at one point in time. Just interesting that they write that, right? And they don't even do it properly. They put, the unit for 5 foot and then 10, but not the unit for inches, right? So they got that wrong. Nobody talking shit to people who've actually accomplished something in their lives. You called the cop who ran and as trained as his partners were shot already by rifles. Yeah, two of them were incapacitated, and they're done. There's nothing you can do when somebody's dead. Like you're gonna cause more issues trying to grab their body in that if you don't run in that moment, right? Of course you're gonna run. You're gonna get yourself to a tactical position. You're gonna get yourself behind cover. You're gonna do something, right? But you're not going to get in the only vehicle that's left and drive 30 kilometers away or whatever distance, leaving the other person to, luckily survive. How that person survived is a miracle, right? And so then, carrying on, that I can't even begin to tell you how smooth-brained person and how little combat experience they have to say it. So they were trying to say that I called the cop who ran something, right? And then they put the thing in brackets. Then they can't even begin to tell me how smooth-brained a person has to be and how little combat experience they have to even say it. Well, what? What, right? Once again, the thing is, did I call anybody anything? Because I told people the truth about it, and I said that guy was weak sauce for leaving his partner behind. So maybe this person is unhinged and going psychotic over the word weak sauce. Can you imagine that? All this over weak sauce? But you did it behind a mask. Remember earlier? I'm an unmasked troll. But you did it behind a mask. You're a troll. Didn't use the proper "you're" again. It's with a whole big break, right? Not hard to look up your life either when all you do is cry and post yourself doing things my friends and I did back at 12 years old. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to look on my YouTube channel because we're already on YouTube. It's very easy just to tap. Oh, look at that. I'm on that person's channel, right? But when you're Googling the hell out of somebody or whatever search engines, right? Maybe even paying to look up someone's information. That's wild. Absolutely wild. And I'm pretty sure I don't cry in my videos. I know I did cry when I had an old girlfriend die in 2023. If this is really that important to know about when someone cried, right? It was March of 2023 when she died from cancer. Not even 40 years old. She was like, 37? And because that got missed, my reply was to the one above that and saying, here we go. You finally explained something that made you upset. I never said anything disparaging about dead police officers. On the video, you flipped out at me over, and I tried to correct everyone. Or I guess I kind of have a missed thing there. On the video, you flipped out at me over, I tried to correct everyone. 4 cops were on scene. 2 died. The guy that took off and left his partner that was still alive behind. And she hid in tall grass until it was lit on fire and she crawled a very long distance. Oh, that got cut off. Oh, goodness. I hope the rest of that... Oh, well, anyhow, I can put it on screen or whatever. Anyhow, it was more words that I was writing there. And then Entropia Universe 352 replies, "You rubbed everyone the wrong way." Can you imagine going psychotic, Googling the hell out of somebody, creeping somebody? Like, this is stalker level stuff, right? Stalker level stuff. You rubbed everyone the wrong way. What, telling them that they got things wrong, by telling them here's what actually happened, by telling them here's the news article you can go look up, right? I rubbed everyone the wrong way. Poor communication and everything I said is true. So everything this person wrote in here, all these low blows, all these insults, all these jabs, right? That's all true. It's a fact. Goodbye, Kirk. Thanks, that really, that personal touch. That's, whew. It's literally the reason you can't find someone. They see through it, dude. You aren't a good guy. Later. Like, this guy's telling me life advice here. You want to know the reason I can't find somebody that I just basically gave up? Sure, we can talk about that. We can go right into that because this is so important to this creep, right? This weirdo, this psychopath wants to know all these little things about me that they dug deep, right? They went deep on the Google machine to try and find all this stuff about me. I got so screwed up back in 2008. I had another, health issue happen. Well, if you want to just list them all, between 2008 and now, right? I even got COVID, dealing with long COVID, and I can barely breathe a fraction of how I used to, right? And I'm always miserable. I'm in chronic pain all the time. The guy that creeped me and found out that I had an article about using medical marijuana to deal with my pain and inflammation and all that, the muscle spasms, he could have figured out all that, but I guess, it's one thing to be unhinged and psychotic and look into somebody, and the other one to actually register anything, right? Yeah, and I don't do good with people. It's a lot better for me to be alone out in nature and enjoying nature. Because, it's like when you're miserable, right? You don't sleep well, you're easily agitated, you get mad easy and so on, right? So it takes nothing to get upset, right? And it takes nothing to lose your temper. So it's a lot better to keep those buffers, keep those distances and stuff, right? And being out in nature is so healing. And even though I'll probably, never get better and only get worse as far as like my neck and back and all this breathing stuff and that, I can only hope I will get better, but I don't think so. But the amount of healing being out in nature does, it's amazing. And, anyone that went through all this, that's really cool that you did. I appreciate it. I just thought it'd be interesting to point out a few things and bring up a few things and show what an unhinged person can be like online, a mentally unstable person that Google machines the hell out of your life because I rubbed someone the wrong way, according to that last part there, right? That's something. It's, here, I'll give you a look. We're trying to navigate here so I don't end up in Piper Creek. I guess, yeah, you can't really see, but it flows this direction. Oh no, wait a second. I gotta think here. Because it's so snaky, right? No, maybe it does flow from south to north and then east to west here. Anyhow, you can see it's not flowing right now. And to any of you still watching, I really appreciate it. And to anyone that thinks it's a good idea to Google the machine the hell out of someone's life and look into everything and then put it online and say you're going to call someone's employer, maybe like take a breath, go out, touch grass, maybe, reconsider before you go completely psychotic online. Anyhow, thank you everyone for watching and have a great day.